Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Ever scroll through your feeds and get this weird feeling of, didn't I just see this?
Uh-huh.
It's like same memes, same arguments, even the same old trends.
Yeah.
We're doing a deep dive today into that whole digital deja vu thing.
Yeah.
And exploring this thing called the memetic wave, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just you. There's actually a lot more to it than just being in an echo chamber. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what is a memetic wave exactly? Is that some kind of internet weather pattern or something?
Uh-huh. Not quite, though it can feel like you're stuck in a digital hurricane sometimes, right?
Yeah.
The memetic wave, it's basically this tendency for thoughts and experiences online to get more and more similar, you know?
Right.
Like imagine the internet's a house, right? Every house needs a blueprint. Yeah. So the internet's blueprint, it's built on some pretty strong values, right? You got individualism, you got freedom of expression, that whole entrepreneurial, be your own boss kind of spirit.
Yeah. No, those all sound like pretty good foundations for pretty much anything.
Exactly, right. They are. But, and here's the thing, depending on someone's background, their culture, those values can actually play out in totally different ways. It's like everybody got the same blueprint, but they're all interpreting it through their own lens. And you get all these wildly different outcomes.
So even with good intentions and these positive values as a starting point, we can still end up in a place online that feels, I don't know, a little too much the same.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that even happen?
We'll take the whole build your personal brand thing, right? For some cultures, that whole, constantly promoting yourself, always trying to stand out, it just feels kind of, off. Clashes with their values, like community, humility. It's like they were given this blueprint, but told to build something totally different.
Well, that's kind of a mind-blowing way to look at it. Okay, so we got this foundation that even though it's well-intentioned, it can kind of get misinterpreted, or at least differently interpreted. But
Yeah.
there's got to be more to it than just how people interpret these values. Right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And that is where those invisible architects come in,
Algorithms.
Yeah.
Everyone's always talking about algorithms. But to be honest, it all still feels like magic to me.
Uh-huh.
Break it down. What are algorithms actually doing that's feeding into this whole memetic wave thing?
Okay, so picture this. You're online building your internet house, right? You're clicking on stuff, liking posts, watching videos, all that. These algorithms, they're like these invisible architects, right? And they're constantly watching your every move, analyzing every little decision you make online.
Okay, that sounds a little Big Brother-ish, but all right, I'm following you. So
Yeah.
they're watching us. Then what?
Well, they're taking all that data, what you click, how long you watch something, who you're talking to, and using it to decide what you see next. It's like they're saying, oh, you liked that. Here's a whole bunch more of that.
So it's like they're trying to create this personalized experience, which on the surface sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
But how does that lead to everyone online sounding like, a broken record?
Because as good as algorithms are at giving us what they think we want, they're not so great at understanding what we actually need. And what we need is, a balanced information diet.
A balanced information diet. I like that. Okay, explain that.
Okay, so imagine only eating your favorite food every single day.
Oh.
Let's say, I don't know, you're a big taco fan.
Okay, you had me at tacos, but yeah, I see where you're going with this. Even I, a self-proclaimed taco connoisseur, would get tired of tacos eventually.
At some point, you're going to want something else.
I know.
Right. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. And that's true for information, too.
So you're saying my online world shouldn't be an endless buffet of tacos? Metaphorically speaking, I mean.
Exactly. These echo chambers curated by these, well-meaning but ultimately kind of limited algorithms, they might feel comfy, but they end up starving our brains of the diverse perspectives that we need to actually grow. If you're only ever served tacos, you're never going to experience the joy of a good bowl of ramen, are you?
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to see how this whole internet blueprint thing, plus these algorithmic architects, it's it can really lead to, a serious case of digital sameness.
Right.
Everyone's building the same house, ordering the same takeout, and then wondering why everything feels so, I don't know, predictable.
Yeah, and that's just the foundation, right? There's another layer to this whole memetic wave thing.
Okay.
It's the speed, right?
Yeah.
The speed at which stuff goes viral online. It's like everyone's rushing to build the same house because it's suddenly trending.
Right.
Even if it like doesn't actually fit their needs or it doesn't really reflect their taste.
It's like the internet's version of keeping up with the Joneses.
Totally.
But instead of a fancy car, it's like a viral trend or some hot take
Yeah.
that everyone feels like they have to have an opinion on.
Exactly. And then before you know it, everyone's just mimicking each other.
Right.
Chasing the same like fleeting trends and just adding to this whole like homogenization of the online experience.
Yeah, it's fascinating and a little terrifying at the same time.
I know.
Just knowing that, like, just by being online, we're all kind of contributing to this, like, flattening of experience in a way.
Right.
But, I mean, we can't just ditch the internet, right?
Right.
So how do we break out of this sameness cycle? And, like, to use your words, how do we become more conscious digital citizens?
Well, I think, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Like just recognizing that the memetic wave exists and how it's kind of like subtly influencing our behavior online. That's a huge first step.
Okay.
And then from there, we can start making like more conscious choices about how we're actually engaging with, with the digital world.
Okay, so awareness is key.
Right.
What else? I'm ready to, like, break free from this digital echo chamber and expand my online palette.
Well, since you mentioned expanding your palette, I think a good place to start is diversifying your information diet.
Okay, so instead of just, like, following the usual suspects online,
Yeah.
like the same news sources, the same blogs, the same influencers that, kind of already align with my worldview,
Yeah.
you're saying I should actively be seeking out different perspectives.
Exactly. Like challenge yourself to explore some viewpoints that might initially make you like a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Think of it like trying a new cuisine.
Okay.
You might be surprised by what you discover. You'll definitely broaden your culinary horizons.
I like that. I'm already thinking about, like, some new flavors I could add to my media diet for sure. Okay, so diversifying that information diet, that's huge. Any other ingredients to being more digitally conscious? What about our own behavior online? Like,
Yeah.
it's not just about what we're consuming, right? It's got to also be about what we're putting out there, too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're totally right. Remember that whole like internet house analogy?
Mm.
We're not just living in it, we're all actively like remodeling it, redecorating it, putting our own personal touches on it.
Yeah.
Every post, every comment, every share, it's like we're adding a detail to that house,
Okay.
And all those little details, they contribute to the overall like vibe of this online space that we all share.
Wow. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to just, like, be mindful of what we're seeing online.
Yeah.
We have to be conscious creators of the content that we're putting out there, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like ask yourself, are you adding to the noise here?
Mm.
Or are you contributing something valuable, something that actually like makes the online experience a little bit brighter, a little bit more interesting,
Yeah. So next time I'm about to fire off a tweet or post a comment, I should really take a beat and be like, hey, wait, am I amplifying something positive here?
Yeah.
Am I just adding to the echo chamber? Or am I actually trying to make the internet a more, I don't know, thoughtful and engaging space?
Exactly. It's about like, bringing that same thoughtfulness and consideration to our online interactions as we, hopefully already do in our offline lives. Right?
Yeah.
Like just being mindful.
Okay, I'm really into this whole, like, being a more deliberate digital citizen, but it's a lot to think about. Are there any, like, practical tips for putting this into practice? Like, where do I even begin to, like, clean up my digital diet?
Well, think of it like spring cleaning.
Okay.
For your social media feeds and your online spaces. And just like with spring cleaning, it's a good idea to start with a little auditing of your digital neighborhood.
Okay. Auditing my digital neighborhood sounds kind of like, I don't know, something out of a sci-fi movie, but, like, in a good way.
Huh.
So tell me more about that. What does that actually look like?
Well, it's actually simpler than you think.
Okay.
Like, just start by taking stock of who you're following on social media,
Mhm.
what pages you've liked, even just like the news sources that you go to, pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And just ask yourself, like, are you surrounding yourself with diverse voices and opinions?
Hmm.
Or have you kind of accidentally built like that echo chamber that we've been talking about,
And now that I'm thinking about it, there are definitely a few accounts I follow more out of habit than, like, genuine interest, and maybe a news site or two that they kind of just echo what I already believe. It's like I've accidentally curated this digital space that, like, only reflects one side of myself and the world, you know?
Exactly. And, as you're going through and doing this kind of digital neighborhood audit, just remember, like those algorithms we talk about, they're
Mhm.
always watching, they're always learning from your every move,
Mhm.
every share, every click. It's, you're basically telling those algorithms, yes, give me more of that.
Oh, wow. So even just those little actions, like just hitting that like button or whatever,
Hmm.
that can actually shape not just what I see online, but what other people see too.
Yeah.
It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all connected. Like
Yes.
every interaction really does matter. And, by consciously like curating our feeds, we're not just changing our own online experience,
Right.
we're actually contributing to a more, I don't know, diverse and interesting, online world for everybody.
Wow. I'm really starting to see the power we have as these digital citizens. But you know what they say, right? With great power comes great responsibility.
100%. It's about being like aware and thoughtful and considerate in our online actions, just like, we strive to be in our offline lives,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's about, choosing to be the change we want to see online.
I love that. Okay. Well, as we're wrapping up our deep dive here into the memetic wave and how to escape that whole like digital deja vu, any final words of wisdom to empower our listeners to like ride that wave, instead of
Yeah.
getting like swept away by it?
Yeah, I mean, just remember, you have a voice, you have choice, and you have incredible power online,
Mm-hmm.
So choose to use them wisely, audit that digital neighborhood,
Yeah.
curate your information diet with like real intention,
Okay.
and be a conscious creator,
Yeah.
and never underestimate the impact that you can have in actually shaping like a more vibrant and interesting and engaging, digital world for everyone.
That's beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that thought. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the memetic wave and how to escape that digital deja vu. Until next time, happy strolling, and remember, be the change you want to see online.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.